For 50 years, the skies above Reno, Nevada have played host to the National Championship air races, where pilots push the boundaries of speed and skill. But on September 16, 2011, what began as a celebration of aviation excellence turned into one of the deadliest airshow disasters in U.S. history. The Reno Air Races, officially known as the National Championship Air Races, had been a fixture in aviation since 1964. Every September, pilots and spectators gather at Reno Stead Airport, drawn by the thrill of watching modified warbirds race at speeds exceeding 500 miles per hour. What makes Reno unique is that it's the last event of its kind in the world. These aren't just airplanes flying in formation, these are actual races, with aircraft flying wing to wing around pylons, just 50 to 100 feet above the ground. The races feature multiple classes of aircraft, from biplanes to jets, but the crown jewel has always been the unlimited class, modified World War II fighters pushed to their absolute limits. Among the competitors that day was 74-year-old Jimmy Leeward, a veteran pilot and movie stunt flyer, with his heavily modified P-51 Mustang named the Galloping Ghost. Jimmy was one of the most experienced pilots on the circuit. He'd been flying at Reno for decades. The Ghost had undergone significant modifications to make it faster. The wings were clipped, and the airframe was streamlined. These modifications are common in air racing, but they also reduce the aircraft's stability margin. September 16, 2011. The crowd at Reno Stead Airport buzzed with anticipation as the premier event of the day approached. The Unlimited Class Gold Race, the fastest, most thrilling competition of the National Championship air races. In the pits, mechanics made final adjustments to the high-performance warbirds. At 4:16 p.m., the Unlimited Class racers lined up on the runway. Among them, Jimmy Leeward in the Galloping Ghost, a silver P-51 Mustang with distinctive red trim. The aircraft had been extensively modified for this race season after sitting dormant for years. However, these modifications were not tested. The aircraft thundered down the runway one by one, lifting into the clear Nevada sky. Banking sharply, they formed up and prepared for the start of the race. In the grandstands, thousands of spectators shielded their eyes from the sun, straining to follow their favorite racers. By the third lap, the race was intensifying. Pilots pulled up to 6 Gs in the turns, their aircraft just 50 feet above the ground. The speeds were blistering, over 480 miles per hour. As the Galloping Ghost approached pylon number 8, no one could have known what was about to unfold. Neither the crowd, nor the announcer, nor Jimmy Leeward himself realized that microscopic cracks had been developing in the aircraft's trim tab assembly. The trim tab, a small control surface on the tail of the aircraft, was crucial for maintaining stable flight at racing speeds. Unknown to anyone, this component was about to fail catastrophically. At 4:20 p.m., as Leeward pulled out of the turn, the trim tab failed completely, tearing free from the aircraft's tail. In an instant, the aerodynamics of the P-51 changed dramatically. When the trim tab broke away, it created an immediate and extreme pitch-up maneuver. The G-forces would have exceeded 10 Gs, well beyond what the human body can withstand while remaining conscious. In less than 2 seconds, Leeward would have been subjected to forces that rendered him unconscious. The aircraft, now without a pilot in control, pitched almost straight upward, rolled inverted, and then began its fatal descent. The crippled P-51, traveling at over 400 miles per hour, plummeted toward the ground in front of the grandstands, directly into an area containing the VIP boxes. At 4:21 p.m., the Galloping Ghost struck the ground with tremendous force. Jimmy Leeward and 10 spectators lost their lives instantly. More than 60 others were injured, many critically. As medical helicopters descended and ambulances screamed toward the crash site, the Reno Air Races, a 50-year tradition celebrating the thrill of flight, had in 30 seconds transformed into the site of the worst airshow disaster in modern American history. In the immediate aftermath, chaos engulfed the airfield. Emergency crews rushed to the scene as spectators fled or tried to help the injured. Noah Geranstad was among the thousands of spectators who witnessed the crash unfold. Seated in the bleachers with a direct view of the impact, his testimony provides a harrowing first-hand account.
And I'm right in there, and then I kept running out of there. So I was like right here where it hit. This was a very violent pull-up. I mean, it was happening so fast. And he's rolling over. I was like, okay, I'm going to die. I'm just going to start running.
And at that point, when you close your eyes, You really think you're gonna die?
When I shut my eyes, I seriously thought I was dying. Like, okay, there's no way I'm gonna survive being hit by a plane. And then I opened my eyes and I'm like, okay, well, I think I'm gonna make it, but it's gonna hurt real bad.
Local hospitals activated their mass casualty protocols. Reno Regional Medical Center received most of the critically injured. Dr. Michael Morkan, Emergency Department Director at Reno Regional Medical Center, led the hospital's response to the mass casualty event. Many of the injuries we saw were consistent with high-velocity debris impacts, shrapnel wounds, blunt force trauma. We had surgeons, trauma teams, and everyone available rushing to help. Some spectators who were physicians themselves were helping treat the wounded right at the scene. As night fell on Reno, the full magnitude of the tragedy became clear. Jimmy Leeward and 10 spectators had lost their lives. Among them was a Washoe Valley couple attending the races together, a father from Washington who died shielding his children, and a pilot who had come to watch his colleagues race. Mike Houghton, President and CEO of the Reno Air Racing Association since 1998, and a central figure in the air racing community, faced the difficult task of addressing the public in the wake of the disaster. Within hours, investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board were on the scene, beginning the painstaking process of collecting evidence. Mark Rosekind, board member of the NTSB and the official spokesperson for the investigation, outlined the scope of their inquiry.
A component has been recovered in the area where that was observed. But I think it's critical at this point to know that we have not identified the component. It will be examined. So we don't really know what the component is or if it even came from this particular aircraft.
Investigators started looking at the pilot, the machine, and the environment. That includes the pilot's history, medical records, the aircraft's maintenance records, modifications made to the aircraft, and the atmospheric conditions during the race. Many stated that his age could have played a factor in his losing control of the plane, but others who knew him personally stated he was fit and possibly saved the lives of many others by avoiding colliding into the grandstand as he was losing control. After enough evidence and research, it became increasingly evident that the plane's modifications were largely to blame. Leeward, in this pre-race interview, even stated how he modified the plane.
Right now, I think we've calculated out we're as fast as anybody in the field, or maybe even a little faster.
It became more and more obvious that the pilot blacked out when photographs taken started going around. You can clearly see in this one that during his descent to the ground, there was no pilot visible in the cockpit area, meaning he was likely slumped over unconscious from the tremendous amount of G-force. The 2012 Reno Air Races went forward with significant changes. The race course was redesigned, moving the path of the aircraft farther from the grandstands. Technical inspections became more rigorous. Officials from the Reno Air Racing Association, known as RARA, the non-profit organization that has organized the National Championship Air Races since 1964, implemented comprehensive safety reforms. Every single recommendation from the NTSB was implemented. The aircraft was now subjected to much more intensive inspections. G-force training for pilots was enhanced, and the viewing areas were reorganized to increase the distance between the racecourse and spectators. Additionally, physical barriers designed to contain debris were installed, and aviation experts worked with engineers to develop predictive failure models for highly modified racing aircraft. Veteran pilots, including those who had raced alongside Jimmy Leeward for decades, reflected on the changes to their sport. What happened in 2011 forced everyone in air racing to rethink everything we knew about safety. The sport continues, but forever changed by what we learned from this tragedy. The Reno Air Races continue today, but have forever been changed by the events of September 16, 2011. For the aviation community, it serves as a sobering reminder of the risks inherent in pushing the boundaries of flight. A memorial now stands at Reno Stead Airport, honoring those who lost their lives. It stands as a testament to a community that refused to abandon its passion for flight, while committing to ensuring such a tragedy never happens again. As the sun sets over the Nevada desert, the legacy of those lost continues to influence aviation safety worldwide. Their memory is honored through the pursuit of safer skies for all.